Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Arthur's Roundtable. Super grateful to have Gary Cardone here, and a shout out to our dear friend McGenna for making the introduction. Gary and I don't know each other. We're just getting acquainted now, but it's all McGenna's fault. So take that. Thank you, Gary, for doing this. Let's start with the sort of the beginning of your journey, if you're willing to share, and we'll just take it from there. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, the west side of Louisiana near Texas border, so opposite of New Orleans. Five children, all separated by 5 years, except for me and my famous twin brother, 5 minutes. Italian, Sicilian family. My dad was a stockbroker. He dies at 8 years old. And that moment I realized, oh, wow, this world doesn't really do any guarantees, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, that is a very interesting lesson that probably has helped me a lot,
It's
right?
formative, right? Yeah.
Well, it just really smacked me in the face. And no matter what anyone says, hey, time will heal all things, but they just had not ever been through that experience. It most certainly didn't heal it. The time hasn't healed that event, but I think it made me pretty tough in a way that you're not going to, no guarantees are full guarantee.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to college, did economics, marketing, lived with a mom that was terrified. She was 42 and she had us, so she's 52 years old with two 10-year-old boys that are just pretty full of piss and vinegar. A 15-year-old brother that is trouble. We just had a lot of energy, right? And no moral mentoring. And like, I really take my hat off to my mom. As a parent today, I'm like, wow, man, I don't know how she put up with us because we were really rude. The greatest gift she gave me was at 20 years old. She said, "Oh, get that off out of my house and don't ever come back. I will not deal with dirty linen. I'm not cooking you any meals. You guys have no respect for me, so get the F out and stay away." That was that moment, and I speak to every parent. That moment is the greatest thing my woman ever gave me because it really, she made me man up. Really made me man up. I would have ended up in prison if she would have kept her breast in my face. She really needed to kick us out. And if you have a kid that's being disrespectful, kick him the fuck out of the house and tell him to go grow up or die. I
Right.
mean, like, figure it out. Um,
Definition of tough love, right?
well, it's totally Arthur, and it's a really great lesson that I need to remember. Uh, so I went off to Houston, got a job, got into the oil and gas business. That was really, really, I felt really fortunate for that. Is the move the largest output of now what would be called boomers into the marketplace for jobs in the biggest recession we've ever seen.
Mhm.
Now again, here's another one. Oh, I could sit there. I hear these kids today going, "Oh, what am I going to do? AI, there's no jobs. I can't afford an $800 million house." And I'm like, um, "Play the cards you've been dealt, man.
Yeah.
Like it's not my fault that you came into this crazy, insane planet in 2026 and you're ready to go into the workforce. I didn't do this to you, okay? Like it's just the way the cards fell, and there must be some great lesson in there for you because I think I could do exceptionally well in the world we're going into with the mindset I've had. I just think you're gonna have to be very, very adaptable and expect no guarantees from anyone and bring more
I
value
isn't it
than you take.
isn't it true? It's not your circumstances, it's what you do with them, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I won very big card hands with a 6 and a 4 offsuit, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, and you just like blaming the situation is not gonna solve anything.
yeah.
I'm actually worried about my children because, you know, they have a bigger safety net than I had. I mean, that's certainly it's not gonna be like I'm gonna pull the rug out from under them, but um I did, my lifestyle wasn't anything near theirs, and I just sometimes wonder, um, can we man up without having these really horrible events? Because I look at people that are really, really successful, that make a big difference in the world. Every one of them had some kind of damage in their background.
Yeah.
Every
trauma,
one of them, right?
damage, experience. Yeah, it was instructive. I've seen that also. I think it's pretty resolved that people who've had some hard times come out of it stronger.
Yeah, yeah, most certainly. So I'm working for an oil and gas company in Houston, big name, big company, making 70 grand a year. I'm 26 years old, and I was so miserable. I could not imagine working in a big building with three levels of people on top of me that understood less than I did about what we were doing. And I wasn't being arrogant. I was just like, wow, I don't think this was the time when the entire energy market was undergoing this massive transformation that the government tried to initiate through lobbies from guys like me that were looking for a free market. And I watched everyone in the oil and gas business that had any experience really hold on to the past. They did not like the change of a regulatory change that would create competition. I'm dealing with the biggest oil companies in the world, big pipeline companies. I'm 25 years old. And, but I'm, because I had no baggage or uh, was a membership fees to a cartel, a club, a group of people, that group of people happened to be the oil and gas business. They looked like they were competing with each other, but in reality, they weren't competing with each other. They were going to country clubs, playing golf, having dinners. One guy would go from Conoco to Phillips, Phillips to Mobil. And, everybody's got like, hey, I need to be nice. It's a little bit like the legal world, You go into these
One
lawyers
law
and
firm to
realize
another, yeah.
they're all buddies. They're all
Yeah.
buddies defending me for $40 million,
And they
right?
go in, do battle in the courtroom, and then share notes outside, right?
Or exactly. And share more than notes. Yeah. I think so. They were used to dealing big long contracts, took a lot of time. There was no one ever judged. People made decisions by committees. And we were talking about pricing energy 1 day, 1 hour at a time, making it super efficient, right? And the last thing they wanted to do was have transparency. I mean,
Right.
I'll give you, for instance, I went to my boss. We have a 36-inch pipeline from Mexico to Houston, Texas, from El Paso to Houston, Texas. It's completely empty, 36-inch pipeline, massive pipeline, holds 1 billion plus cubic feet a day. My job is to fill the pipe up. I'm 23 years old, okay? I mean, this was an awesome experience. Contracts this big, words I didn't even understand. I heard the word force majeure. I'm like, oh my God, what does
Yeah,
that mean?
right.
Um, but that education, just getting out of school and getting into a platform that's really speak to the families and the kids. Like, look for a platform where you can be exceptional. It might not be the best team. It might not be the Harvard team. It might be the next level or other level team where the ocean is not so big that you can't make a difference.
Right.
I think some people go into the IBMs, Morgan Stanley's thinking, this is the deal, right? It's like, dude, you're getting lost.
Yeah, you get lost.
You
Yeah.
get lost. So anyway, I'm doing this, and I look at the guy. He said, "Look, the contract offers him $7.36," and I'm like, "The next pipeline is 800 miles away, man. Like that would cost him $2. Why don't we offer the guy $7 even?" And he said, "Nah, we don't mess around with nickels and pennies, nickels and dimes. I think
Yeah.
that was 1 billion cubic feet a day. Do the math on penny." Now it trades at 1/10 of a penny. But my point is, they just weren't comfortable or used to. They had never really negotiated with each other on half a cent. For them, it would be disrespectful, right? Um, what I'm headed with this is that in a massive turbulent time, high recessionary pressure, massive regulatory change, a new kid, 25 years old, walks into the oil and gas industry and would walk out by the age of 41, having run through multi-billion-dollar energy companies. And it was just simply because I was willing to go with the flow. I had no baggage to carry. I was like, hey, somebody wants to trade for a penny. There's a spread there. I can do value. Let's
Yeah.
split it even, right? Um, and that education would really set me up to never. I ended up leaving the big corporation and went to work for a startup company called Natural Gas Clearinghouse. There was 12 other people there, and I would never go back and work for another corporation ever again. I wanted to build them. Um, and then I could learn, hey, when a company gets to be 150 people, you need to get out. You need to get out and go build another one that's small, because I'm really good with the smaller groups. I don't want to manage 150 people. I don't want to hear about HR. It's not where my skills are. And I have a very negative view on HR. So
Yeah, what a nightmare. Was that during the Enron years?
I was married to a lady at Enron. She and I don't know if we were married at the time, but we were most certainly sleeping in the same bed. We controlled 90%, maybe 95% of all the molecules that were sold in California, man. Sleeping in the same freaking bed. 2 phone calls from San Diego, Justin. Like it was crazy times.
Wow.
But that industry today, and I just remind people, the industry we're getting ready to move into, this what I call digitization of planet Earth. 25 and 28 and 29-year-old men reformed and reshaped the entire energy construct, electricity and natural gas, and they did it in 8 years. It is really the whole Enron era. Like Elon is really right on so many things about the commoditization of the market, where transparency is introduced, like we're ultra transparency today, and those markets should settle at fractions of pennies. They become hyper efficient. Uh, Too bad they ran out of money, ran out of time, and they oversold what they were doing. But certainly the construct was right, and it shows that outsiders always make these massive step changes. The insiders never do it.
Because
They
the
should
legacy thinking, right?
correct. That means Google will not win the game in AI. It's
Yeah.
going to be the outsiders. It's all these. Meta's probably not. I don't think Meta survives this because they don't bring any true value to the planet. And that's where I hope that's where we're headed. Your value is understood. It's
Value
not
gets
so
rewarded.
easily quantified,
Yeah.
right? We quantify everything, but we don't qualify very much.
Yeah.
I think value is grossly misrepresented in the market. It's everything's priced, but I don't think value is priced properly.
So what do you think of just as an aside, because it was super entertaining, Landman as a representation of what it's really like down there?
Extremely accurate. The first series I watched, I was watching with a friend of mine. I'm like, oh, well, I can't even watch it with you because I know all these people. I
Yeah.
mean, all the people they're listing, I'm like, oh wow, I know where their offices are. I mean, I got drunk with these people, right? I mean, it's very accurate still. I think the mindset's accurate, and it's a very good thing for the world, especially people that are young, and they're convinced that wind and solar can solve the problems.
Yeah, that little segment where he made the speech with the
Everything
lawyer.
he is
Yeah.
touches out there.
Yeah,
Everything.
basically called everybody out and said, you can say you wanna do all this, and it's I get miffed regularly because there's a lot of people in the world that really are well-intentioned, but if you don't measure something, it doesn't get better, and so they come out and they do this virtue signaling and said, like, "I want the world not to burn because of climate change," and then it falls flat from there because they don't do anything, or they just say that because they wanna be perceived as a good person, and I'm using climate change uh, as just an example. There's dozens and dozens of people that come out and say, "Here's something that sounds good," but then that's it. It falls flat, right?
Yeah. Well, like, you know, wind. I mean, if people just looked at how much concrete it takes to make one of these, to fund it, to fill it, to use the capital, then to maintain it, how many birds it kills, how long it lasts, you would be really disabused that wind is anything other than a joke, a
It is a
complete
joke.
joke.
Yeah.
And it's going to make Europe become a third world continent. Their energy policy is going to imprison the entire continent of Europe. And only the edges are going to survive this. It's going to be the Eastern European and the Southern European countries that survive this, and everyone else is going to get between Norway and the South. They're turning into a frozen planet. That's what I think the continent of Europe is. They have no energy, they have no logistics or capacity to produce and move energy. They have no agriculture. They have no manufacturing whatsoever. And now they have no fucking tourism
Yeah.
because it's dangerous to be there.
It's dangerous to be there. And what they said in that segment was that you can say, tell me if you think this is still accurate. You can say whatever you want about oil ruining the planet, but everything we do needs it. And we are struggling to get enough of it to satisfy the appetite of the population. So say what you want. If we stop making it, the whole thing melts down.
Well, we want to stop making it. We will never run out of in this type of energy. Fossil fuel energy, we're not going to run out of. The price of it would be a different question. I think actually the price will come down forever. And that in my lifetime, assuming I live to be 90 or so, we'll see crude oil at $10 or $15, $20. And we'll see the energy companies making money, more margin than they were making. Wind and solar may be a thing, but look, we're forgetting what happens if there is a technology. I mean, I understand Sweden or Denmark are experimenting with electricity that has no wires right now. And you've already seen some of these battery storage devices you can, not even plug your phone into. We deliver one technology. Well, let's talk about the Iran thing. They supposedly have 11 to 20 million barrels. I have a very, very different view on this than most people. I think 35% of all the energy we use is a bucket of energy. In certain locations, we will have constraints and problems. But I think 35%, maybe 45% of all the energy we use is convenience energy. You and I probably have very comfortable homes. I take at least one hot bath a day, don't care how much hot water I use. I don't know anyone that turns off their PC at night. That tells me electricity is too cheap. I want to say that again for all the spoiled Americans that don't know that 40% of the entire population of planet Earth still cooks on wood.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
I ain't cooked on wood in a long, long time, unless it was for a picnic to impress my kids how stupid I was at building a fire. Right? So, I don't need my home at 72. I could have it at 82. I don't have to go on that trip. I'm most certainly not buying an airline ticket. It was 400, now it's at 4,000. And that's a real number. I mean, all airlines have moved in 10 days, somewhere between 3X and 7X. Mm. A private jet from Tampa to Vegas and back was $83,000 a year ago. Now it's $127,000.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to understand what the impacts of oil are. And everyone around is going to be, oh, those bad oil companies. Those bad oil companies didn't do this. They didn't want this to happen.
The consumer did it, right?
No, the government did this, man. 2 countries did this. I don't think
explain that.
Well, I mean, we blew up a pipeline that was going to Europe 4 years ago called Nord Stream. Someone blew that up. It did not happen by 2 guys smoking a cigarette in a rowboat. I suspect we did it. We strangled, choked Germany, Italy, France. Now Germany's so freaked out. They have the most expensive, UK and Germany have the most expensive electricity in the free world. 5 times more expensive than the manufacturer in the United States. No one is going to manufacture anything in the UK. Not a cup of tea, not a cup of anything. By the way, they stopped producing anything many years ago. I can't even remember that. The North Sea oil fields are drained. The regulatory process is almost like fascist. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. No one will go build a business over their tax policies.
Yeah, same thing with France, right? You can't own a business in France. Yeah.
Well, and now France is interesting because they're all nuclear, okay,
Right.
but they
Exactly.
banned the hell out of their nukes. So I think where Europe ends up is that because they have now seen that they don't have access and they don't have a pipeline that has access to the cheapest energy in the world, Russia.
Yeah.
That's gone. They're going to become a net importer of everything and have very little control. I don't even know how they survive. I don't think the continent of Europe survives this. I think the Halliburtons and the Raytheons are going to make a humongous amount of money out of rebuilding continental Europe into 15-minute terror centers. Like, I think it's going to be, hey, let's run the experiment right here. If we can run it across all the continent of Europe, ID, CBDCs, digital information, can only drive this far, you can only go this many times out of the country. That would be the way to handle the immigration issue that they let go for 20 plus million people for the last 20 years with no assimilation whatsoever. Let's just lock them all up.
Yeah. It's all of those
It would be efficient. It
and the
takes a particular
prohibitions are
time.
happening live right now. It's insane, right?
Yeah. I mean, 6 months ago, I said, hey, I won't travel to London because I'm scared. I love London. I'm
Yeah.
scared they won't let me in or out
Yeah.
because you don't know. Like, everyone's being monitored right now, what they're doing. It seems like all the politicians have gone completely off the edge of reality, and it's going to bite us. It's biting us right now. We've seen gasoline in Florida go from $3 to $4.50 in less than 4 weeks. It doesn't impact me at all, okay? But it impacts everybody else, man.
It does impact a
It's a
lot of people.
huge problem, right?
It
It's $10 in Italy
yeah.
if you can get it. I have a friend near the UK. He's out of diesel. Can't get diesel. We're just starting here.
Mm.
This is just starting, man.
Is that
Helium's a
is that
massive problem. Okay,
is
there isn't any AI chips made without helium.
right. Yeah.
Okay, 40% of the helium's supply goes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Fertilizers, nitrogen. I mean, it's going to impact food supplies. We've been impacting the entire supply chain since before Ukraine. We, Someone keeps interfering. I think COVID was a supply shock intervention that created inflation and then massive deflation, right? And what we're doing right now is I think we're doing COVID 2.0.
It's been
And
said. Yeah.
like, this is not cool what we're doing. This is really impactful for the world economy for a long, long time.
So what do you think, since we're talking about it, there are forces in the world that allegedly want chaos simply because it uh, lets them do what they otherwise would like to do. And so that and I'm not sure that makes sense, but there's chaos all over the place, and it seems to be, the people who are protesting on the streets aren't there because they feel strongly about free Palestine or this or that or the war. It's because someone's paying them, because it's pretty clear that most of them don't know anything about why they're there. So why do you think someone would want to sow chaos? What's the end game there?
We have, I was reading a report just today, and it was talking about, three companies have 82% of all the energy supplies in the United States, and three companies control 62% of the steel market, and three companies control their banking. And then I would add, hey, two companies that make a 51 and a 46% gross operating profit control 72% of the credit card market. 51 and for the family offices, come on, 51 and 46% gross operating margins for two companies that we're not going to say these are high tech companies. Okay? It's Visa and MasterCard.
Right.
And no one's going to disagree with me that they are literally charging more than the Hormuz, 3.5%. on every transaction. They are monitoring every transaction. They know that RFID chip is more than a transaction chip. It is a monitoring chip.
Yeah. Data
Um,
collection.
and we continue to allow it to occur. I heard the other day that the Europeans are a little concerned about Visa and MasterCard pulling all their cards. Like, this is European, because we've done it twice to the Russians. Okay. These are not public companies that you and I know, man. These are servants of a government pretending to be public companies.
Yeah.
We're not the America that you and I grew up to be, which is a free marketplace. There is not one industry here, including, by the way, our great friends and I'm sure massively trustworthy industry titans, Mark Zuckerberg and the Google boys. They own 72% of all the social media. Okay, we have the medical industry and insurance all wrapped up in like maybe three companies. United Healthcare is touching everything on the planet. It's a lie that we have free markets. We are a fascist cartel country, man. I can't even believe Donald Trump wakes up every morning and feels proud of what we're doing here. It's so obvious to me. This is a scam. I grew up thinking that I could compete on my merit. I could compete on my merit and innovate and bring solutions, and nobody would stop me. And that's just not the way the market works today. And the consumer is being completely rogered because of no choice, little choice, lack of ability to migrate, a lack of understanding of any agreement they have been forced to sign online, electronic signatures, GDP, all these security things, KYC, AML, the policies they wrote in Europe, GPRD, all
GDPR.
these, yeah, uh, these have been basically intelligence gathering activities and a way to block competition. And Financial came here and tried to provide credit card services. They lasted a year. Visa and MasterCard provide insurance to consumers that allow a consumer to commit fraud against the retailer, and they make billions and billions and billions of dollars from
Doing it.
it.
So
It's staggering. Like the market has become so bastardized from what we grew up learning and believing. Um, But quite frankly, the government should just move into all services. I mean, maybe that's where their head is. The sovereigns just own everything like every other country, but let's get rid of all the middlemen. Okay, because they don't need to pay Visa and MasterCard. I'm just pay Bank of America. In fact, let me just go straight to the Federal Reserve. We get rid of Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Visa, MasterCard, and about 100,000 payment processors who are literally clipping 300 to 500 basis points on retail products that you and I are paying for. It really brings no value to anything.
So one would argue that you know that so let me ask it this way. When you and I grew up, we felt like the American dream, things were pretty well managed. If you worked hard, you could, like, it was a meritocracy. Like, you could go for it, grab grab the world by the throat, work hard like you did at the oil company, like I did in my businesses, and you were rewarded for being innovative, working hard, being smart, that sort of thing. When do you think the wheel started coming off to make it so, uh by the way, I agree with you. There's little escaping the big brother, right? Everything is data, right? Even though they're clipping.
Well, we were hoodwinked into that. Okay, we were hoodwinked into that,
Say it
and that
again.
we were hoodwinked into
Yes.
all this data. Okay,
Yeah.
our government did not protect us. Our DOJ most certainly did not protect us. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is supposed to protect consumers. They must have spent 4 years and millions of dollars trying to prosecute me for something that after 2.5 years, I built a credit card payment uh, technology to stop all these chargebacks on Visa and MasterCard. I'm like, wow, what a scam. I mean, we built a business making $70, $100 million a year around protecting the merchant from Visa, MasterCard, and their consumer abuse. Buy a $200 pair of shoes and go, hey, I didn't get them. And
Yeah,
it's so
fraud.
expensive.
That's fraud. Right.
It's total fraud. It's cyber fraud. They call it friendly fraud. They hired a lobby team to come up with a name, friendly fraud. They're like, there's friendly fraud, enemy fraud. It costs the retailer the same. And guess who's paying for it? Me. The good consumers paying for this unnecessary bullshit,
Yeah.
right? I mean, in China, can't come in here and be a bank and provide credit card processing because they don't have the ability to provide insurance, chargeback insurance. Just says that the card schemes, these cartels are unhealthy. And I started it with my story in 1981 in the energy business. I say, hey, why don't we give the guy $7, not $7.36? He says, we don't trade on nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's not efficient. Okay, that was not my job. My job was to fill the pipe up with cheap fuel, not to overpay, not to underpay. And how do I know if I'm overpaying or underpaying if there's no competition?
Yeah.
The longer you get to competition and to marginal pricing, and that's why crude oil is the symbol of the greatest commercial market in the world ever created. It is very difficult to control crude oil prices. We've run that over 40 years, man. OPEC, OPEC 1, OPEC Super, OPEC 2.
Right.
Everywhere these clubs break up because boys have a way of moving around. You can't stop them.
Yeah. So let's go back to your example. The chargeback business that you built. Why did they want to crush that? Forget about the legal issues. Why did Visa and MasterCard want to crush that? You would think that Visa and MasterCard would want to figure out how to keep that friendly fraud from happening.
Well, you're allowed to go buy two companies and then provide the only insurance policy against that very fraud.
So they were underwriting the insurance
This
cost.
is my problem with these close schemes. Like they're allowed to buy companies, then close the whole market off. They sell me a $27 product and then say, "Hey, you cannot price this under 50." So they're managing price. That's antitrust. Fucking antitrust. They're really saying I cannot sell below $50 to a particular customer, and then they're selling the same product for 48.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like that is not allowing competition to work. And by the way, I spend $22 million a year with them. I mean, they really are going around the world, people here get spending money with them. So one thing we learn though is all of these companies, whether they're oil, credit card players, the global planet is too big for all these companies. They're so narcissistic and they're so insane to think that they can be everything to everyone, including Facebook's of it all. Facebook just did an $80 billion write-off. $80 billion, 6 years old, changed their company name from Facebook to Meta because Mark Zuckerberg was going to be a synthetic infinite being in his Meta universe. He just said, we're done with Meta. Fuck Meta. That was a dumb experiment. $80 billion, man.
Well,
How does anybody get away with that, okay?
yeah.
Come on.
What's that tell
Okay,
you?
this is the same guy that, by the way, went on TV and said that multiple divisions inside the United States require him to give up his data. He didn't tell the shareholders of the day. He didn't tell the board. Like, I think he's already committed so many felons, it's unbelievable. He's a public company. His job is to protect his shareholders, not to talk to the government.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, it's pretty clear that he had a gun to his head. And I mean, let's just blame the prior administration for doing what they did, right? It doesn't need to be political, but that administration is the one that held the gun to his head. And he either acquiesced to that or he didn't. And he did, right? So I give him credit for coming out and saying it publicly, but he had nothing to lose at this point by coming out and saying it, right? It's all history. It's just that most people didn't believe that the government would actually do that, right? But they did.
well, since then, we just got a $254 million settlement because he abused children's data. This is after that he became a good human being and went public with what clearly was getting ready to be discovered anyway.
Right.
Um,
That's right.
I give the guy zero credit for doing anything. Like, he was creating one of the most heinous products in the history of mankind. It has not
Oh,
helped
no,
America.
Facebook has caused so many people,
Well,
not
okay,
just
this is what I don't
adults.
understand. This is what I don't understand. I see a company like Exxon Mobil. They go to work every day. They lose lives over fun. It's energy, man. It's stuff we use, and people bitch about the oil companies, and then they watch Facebook. And I'm like, wow, you should be complaining about the poison they're putting in your kids' brains, man.
Right.
At least when
Totally.
I get, diesel put into my tractor, I know what it is. I know what's in the diesel. So we've gotten really far off base, but
Yeah, no,
I,
it's totally okay. Look,
where I'm trying to go to there, I think that we've gotten really a long way away from transparency, and every time you move away from transparency, you end up in this opaque world, the black box, and that is where all the crime, mistakes, and errors are hidden.
and
For
fraud.
the audience, where there is opacity, there is a lie.
Yeah.
There is a mistake. There is something that's being hidden, and it is never good for you. It is never good for the masses, ever, ever, ever. And it should be our motto going for the next 30 years. Transparency is the key. You can be my president. Let's be transparent. You want to raise taxes? Cool. What are you spending them on? I'm happy to give tax money. I'm not happy to kill any more people, though.
Yeah.
Like, my money now, I'm not kidding. Oh, wow. My money is being used to build weapons to kill innocent people. And if we all stood up and got really open, voice, and transparency, like you said, hey, let's not get political. We're going to have to get political at this point. We can't go, well, listen, 51 and a 36% gross operating margin, 50-year-old companies. That is that's being allowed to that's not even being allowed. This is what we want. We want 2 or 3 players we can make a phone call to. That is a very scary world to me. Because they won't like guys like you and I, man. They're not going to let a guy like me bring value. Because
No.
I bring a lot of value. I bring truth. And like, I
They
don't
would
take a
throw
lot.
they would throw us under the bus in a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
let's talk about what, aside from being political, which is totally cool, what, you
Yeah, I'll
know,
hold it. I'll hold it. But I don't think you can leave that part of the deal out, because it's clear to me it is part of the commercial landscape now. You can't. I'm not invited to the table on some of these. That's not cool.
yeah,
Okay, they'll get what? Oh, you're just inviting the big boys, the club.
totally.
McKinsey, Cap Jam. They'll all be there. Price Waterhouse. Until they start realizing, well, this is getting ready to get rid. OI is getting ready to expose a lot of people. This is
A
what I was
lot of,
trying to get to with the transparency.
yeah.
And that's why I love AI, because I don't think we can do any worse. The, 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 the evolution of where we are as a country or a race, I don't think you can do any worse, man. Okay? And AI would be a better governor, a better teacher, a better parent than most parents. I mean, really, better than most parents. They would most certainly be consistent. They're not going to get on drugs. They're going to be able to teach your kids Socrates, not soccer. They'll also be able to teach your kids soccer. Perfect soccer, by the way. You don't have to hire a coach. And then they can learn how to do Chopin at night and walk my dog. I'd pay somebody $400 a month to walk my dog. Now I have my dogs walk perfectly. Now I have dogs that are consistent, well trained on every. I mean, man, there's a lot. Like, I am hoping that's where this takes us.
I think there's going to be a lot of good that comes from it. We'll talk more about it offline, but we're knee deep in all this stuff too. But if it's okay with you, I want to touch on, part of what I can do and perhaps others and what you can do to thwart some of these problems besides being active to fight it is I'm just going off the grid. Like I'm taking my stuff and right because even though there's lots of fraud and bad actors in that business, my digital assets are out of the hands of anybody who's overseeing me. And so that might be my
Talk about crypto. Are we going to talk
yeah,
about digital asset wall?
yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, no, so go. So you're not talking about lower off the grid. You're talking about having the option to be off the grid.
I'm actually talking about both, right? But for the time being, I still have to live in this world and I'm going to be off the grid to some extent, but not forever because I have kids and grandkids and I want to be involved in all that. Uh, but I'm talking about this where, you know, I don't need everybody knowing my business, right? Not because I'm a bad actor, not because there'll be plenty of bad actors and there have been in the crypto and blockchain world, but you know, if the shit hits the fan, uh, and there's things that I just don't want people to know. Period.
Do you think that the blockchain and digital assets like a Bitcoin give you more anonymity than anything else?
I don't think that the Bitcoin gives you anonymity, and because it's pretty public what that's all about, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to hang with you on the hey, I don't want people to know what I'm doing or what I have, um, and how that plays into the crypto piece because I think that's um, yeah, I just don't know if that's real, right? Like it seems to me like everybody knows pretty close to what everybody has in crypto.
yes, it has been. I think what I'm getting at is I'm off the Visa and Mastercard rails,
There you go.
right?
Yeah, you're using other technologies and apps other than the typical rails. Yeah. Look, this is why, I studied in energy, salt, natural gas go from, and I think natural gas and oil, electricity, they define if you're a first, second, or third world nation. So they're more important than t-shirts, right? Um, Meaning that if they go well, it's really significant. If you take, if you take the credit card industry away, I don't think that anything's going to be a problem. I just look at, oh wow, we moved natural gas from $7. People have been telling me oil was going to go to 300 forever and ever. It's never done that. We introduced transparency, and what we find is that there's 10x the volume that's shown up. Producers are drilling to the futures market because they know the market's there. Um, we have very little efficiency though because we have little transparency. I look at the Bitcoin story. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. Finally, what have we been talking about today? DOJ, FBI, FTC, all these guys that are supposed to manage the rules. They're supposed to live in a free world with free voice and free choice and open access and open markets. But the truth is, we don't. Because the transparency over the last 20 years has just done this. Wow, wow, just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Um, I've seen Bitcoin like, oh, no central authority to be able to buy off with shares or to be able to buy off with hey, I realize that you're like having gold sex on Saturday nights at 2 a.m. How you like these pictures? By the way, I need this favor from you.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Okay,
yeah,
to be able to go to a church. I grew up being Catholic, and then at 22 years old, I realized, whoa, there's a lot of pedophilia going on in my club. And I saw the management team, and the management team was like, I'm like, I'm
yeah,
out. If you want to call your boys out in your management team, then you're as criminal as the people that did whatever. So I got out of that group. Every group I get into, I'm like, oh, wow, another human group. Bitcoin offers me the least amount of human error risk, and human error includes evil people, right? Like, or a mistake, just a general mistake. I am the only person in the Bitcoin world that has any element of risk associated with my holdings. And I get to choose how much risk I want to take or not take. I mean, at zero cost. It costs 30 cents a month. Just hold with me. 30 cents a month to store a unit of natural gas. It costs $5 a month to store a barrel of oil, and there's a shitload of it being stored right now on ships. And it costs money to store gold bullion every month. I don't know exact price. I can store $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in my wallet, in my front uh, pocket next to my Glock, and pay zero storage fees forever. See, I look at Bitcoin really different. I'm like, oh my God, no storage fees. Awesome. I don't have to talk to anybody. Cool. I can whip out money on a Saturday afternoon and buy a company. I bought Node 40 on a Saturday afternoon with Bitcoin. No one in the world could have transacted. They needed to sell, and I was a buyer. And I was able to buy a company because I had liquidity on a Saturday afternoon, man.
Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome. Yeah. This is how I got my brother into this. I'm like, bro, I wanted to start a bolster fund and just have Bitcoin sitting in the fund, and we just wrote, hey, the banks, and just sit knocking it out. Hey, if you guys want to do a $400 million deal, let us know. Right before the covenants breach on Monday morning at 9 a.m., you give me a call on Sunday, okay? I can transact. You may not like the number, but you like the number more, then your competitors start launching this shit at 9 a.m.
Right. I love that idea.
It's a great idea.
Distressed asset on a Saturday afternoon. Right.
And you get all the Bitcoin laws, and you go, dude, if we can't get a 24% return, we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there just vulture buying, right? But when you get that quick, I'm like, people do not understand the liquidity value. I think they're getting ready to understand. There are very few products in the world that you can sell on a Sunday night in volume. I mean, my brother, when he first came to this thing, he was like, hey, now I'm going to move in and buy 1,000 Bitcoin. I said, oh, wow, cool, dude. That's awesome. You should buy 10,000, but okay. I'll let you step in like a little boy that you are. And I'm teasing him all along. And he says, yeah, man, I'm going to move the market. And I've been trading my whole life, right? I have moved markets before. And I just looked at my brother and went, oh, dude, you haven't studied this market, have you? He said, well, how long do you think it's going to take me to buy 1,000 Bitcoin before I move the market? I'm like, about a minute. $50 billion a day trading Bitcoin. 1,000 Bitcoins, what, $100 million? They don't even feel it coming.
But what caused him to think he was going to move the market? Just because it was a slug of money?
Well, it's a slug of money, and Bitcoin sounds like a really tiny market to me. If you asked all your legacy people, none of your family offices will know it trades how much.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest markets in the world, and no one knows about it as far as liquidity goes.
Yeah.
You know, you start looking at that, and the audience may not understand this, but the banks are only opened about 3.5 days a week. And compared to Bitcoin, they're probably open less than 3 days a week.
Yeah.
This is open 7 days a week, every minute of the day. And this is going to be very challenging for the banks.
Yeah. And by the way, Gary, we know this, but when the banks say you only can bank during banking hours and you can't wire money this and it takes time with that and ACH this and it's all nonsense. It's all for the float because all those rails exist, right?
Correct. And listen, everybody, your entire audience is already digital.
Yeah.
You're already digital. This is not a change. The bank that I do business with, I'm so social, I do a lot of stuff on social media, and they follow me, and they're like, man, you're beating us up, you're killing us. And it's ridiculous. $35 wire fees. I do one a week. I burned 12 minutes of your staff time. They didn't call me back. I'm driving 100 miles down the railroad. They give me a 17-digit PIN number. I'm like,
Right.
yeah,
And I was supposed to confirm that,
it's
right?
$8 million. I'm like, well, whatever, man. I said, this is
Yeah.
not security. They call me, you report you can do your own work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably one of maybe 30 people, but I just made enough noise about it. Now, I do my own bars. There is no $35 fee. I do it in 2 minutes, man. It's slick as shit. It's
Yeah.
just like moving digital assets. All you're doing, and this bill, this digital bill, anybody that's got political connections, go to these people and say the banks are really, really delaying the digital bill. Okay. They are terrified of saving the U.S. consumer 200 basis points for doing nothing. Okay. And you should be ashamed of yourself, Jamie Dimon. You should be ashamed of yourself. You most certainly can do something better to make 200 basis points than to take it from my grandmother.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's like you don't love your country if you're doing that. We need people proud and spending money. We don't need them, having vampires just attached to it. It's so silly. This is what I hate to leave this for. Like these companies, they know Netflix is going to charge grandma on a Wednesday, and she does not have enough money, but they know Thursday morning she has enough money, and they bang her for $23 late fee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I think we're making progress. Did you see the bill, really?
No, I didn't.
Netflix did a subscription change. England came out and said, we're fining you $400 million fucking dollars. You can't do that. And every European country behind going, oh, really?
I didn't see that.
It's
Wow.
just pretty quick. This is really cool because the consumer's just being hammered with subscription fees that they didn't really read the details to.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they're saying it's not lawful. They have no legitimate reason to raise prices. You're a software company. It's the legit response.
Wow. So let's before we wrap it up, if you're willing to make a comment about where Bitcoin is now and why it doesn't matter or does matter. A lot of people are saying it went up to the high. What made it go down to the low? Was it the people who really are moving the market, like we talked about earlier? Is it not that? What is it? What is it that caused it to be 131 or whatever it was now to 60 something?
Well, it went to 126 off the prior high of 69, which was 3.5 years ago. It's back at 71,000 today. It's up $4,000 just on this crude oil news or the Iran news. Bitcoin has the most successful ETF in the history of ETFs. If that means anything to you, it means something to me that, there's thousands and thousands of ETFs, and all of a sudden Bitcoin just pops up 2 years ago and becomes, not by a little bit, but like by 10x, the greatest ETF, the most interested, the most liquid. Morgan Stanley just launched theirs yesterday or today. At the cheapest rates, by the way, 0.17 basis points of fees than any other ETF in history. See what I'm saying? All the data is coming. Hey, fees are dropping. Why? Volumes explode in a highly transparent market. Just look at the commodity market. They explode. And the legacy guys hate it because they're like, oh, can we make it up in volume? Because
Right.
at some point they have to report to their analysts, hey, our 23% margin's going to 12 next month, next quarter. And then they need a year to make up in the volume. So, Bitcoin, this is the way I like to explain it, I think, Arthur. One, I am usually 4, 5, 6 years early to a transition like this. And this is all I have ever done. I didn't mean to do it, but I've always ended up in disruptive. Oh, look at that gap. All right. I look for gaps. And I saw the credit card thing. I'm like, I don't really like the credit card industry, but this is funny. It's interesting. Let's go figure it out. So when I go, okay, I'm always in the area, I saw the people before me come into this, Dan Tapiro, Dan Hill, bunch of guys before me, and their personalities are a little different than mine. They were even earlier. They were willing to take much more risk than me. Now, maybe I had more money than they had when they took all this risk, because buying something at $30 or $300 1,000 times is not the same as buying 71,000 a 1,000 times.
Yeah.
This is the market we have right now. Now, I'm going to give you a different spin on why I think prices are doing what they're doing. There's 5 million coins currently were held at, I think, below, let's just call it below $1,000. And they're in a $71,000 market. This is the whales. Whales OG coins. You can pretty much see this on the blockchain if you look deep enough in it. I think these people are part of the problem. And I know a ton of people in crypto, and they hear me say this all the time. I love you guys anyway, but look, when you bought something at 300, your viewpoint and your incentives are very different than someone buying something at 71,000. Here's one, for instance. At 300, you lost 4 fucking million coins. At 71,000, you haven't lost a coin. What does that mean? Oh, wow, maybe it's respecting your coin more, so people take different handles with it. Also, maybe the buyer is more mature today, which I most certainly think that's true. I think the buyer that you've seen in the last 4 years are people that have staying power that crypto has never seen before. This is real money with real mature decisions. We don't panic. We don't like, oh, I'm going to chase 126. I have 57, 62, 65, $66,000 bids. Come hit me. And that is, I think the crypto people, especially anyone that's in this, like one thing I did not understand, I think the crypto people overpitched it, was Bitcoin going to run away from you? My perspective is if you're patient and disciplined, Bitcoin will come to you. It will really come to you. You do not need to panic. You don't need to freak out. What I do is I look at this as I have Bitcoin at 71,000. I can go build another business. That'll cost me $1 million at least. So 10 Bitcoin, probably 100 Bitcoin, but 10 Bitcoin. I get to hire HR. I get to sign a bunch of NDAs. I get to hire some people. I got to come up with a good idea. I got to get an office space. So I can buy 7. I could go do a franchise at Popeyes. Arthur, let's go run a Popeyes franchise. $2.5 million. I now have a partner you. I have to do K1s. I have employees. I have to buy insurance. I have to buy grease. I know I'm going to get sued. I'm probably selling poison, and I'm going to hate my life.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What kind of lifestyle is that? No, thank you.
I get to work 20 hours a day, and I make less than my employees. Or I could buy Bitcoin, $71,000 franchise into I think, the holy grail of monopolies that has no DOJ exposure.
Right.
Okay? No DOJ exposure whatsoever. And I get to pick this business up and take it anywhere in the world I want. And it gives me an option, both a put and a call. A put on the past legacy wall, right? And a call on the future of digitalization. And I pay no option premiums, and it never, ever expires.
Yeah.
24/7. That is an interesting product. I've never seen that product before. You can't do that, right?
No, I don't know anything you can do.
To oil.
Yeah.
You would need all the money in 4 years just from storing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the storage is a problem across the board because it's friction that people don't think about. It's just a perfunctory requirement, right?
Yeah, and the way I tell the older community is, hey, look at Bitcoin as 71,000. It's too difficult to get. This was really missold. The friction points. It took Visa 52 years to get credit cards in everyone's pocket. You're never going to get people to do Bitcoin. Not the way y'all are making it so difficult. It just needs to show up. Boom,
Okay.
Bitcoin. I don't, it's just a lot of friction points. And that's just about somebody coming up with a better solution. The ETFs most certainly are a gateway into Bitcoin for very big families and pensions. They're not going to self-custody. And I think this is the message your people should bring to the crypto people. Families with $1 billion are not doing self-custody for all $1 billion. They might do it for a piece, but they're not gonna. It's too much risk.
Yeah, the ETF's a good solution. I can't believe it's that low. That's good to know.
You didn't mean that low. Oh, on the fees?
Friction, yeah.
Well, I
Friction's
mean, listen, you can go into I just picked up because I don't know where the market's going. I just bought uh STRC, which pays an 11.5% dividend monthly, 17% tax rate. That should steal every dollar from every mutual fund. STRC,
what STR what?
yeah,
I'm gonna write it down.
it's Micro Strategies dividend product. It's the
Oh,
preferred A. So it's similar to MSTR, pays 11.5%. You're sending him $5 million. I think I bet $5 million worth of stuff 2 days ago because I've got cash. I don't know what to do with it. It's literally sitting in FCFC paying me monthly at 11.5%. And I can liquidate it anytime I want. No fees, no entries, no exits. And it's a money market account. I mean, I look at my bank and dude, I'm not sitting in your 2.5% thing. Move it to
yes.
FCFC. I
And
told my
so
brother this, and he was like, "Wow, it's an awesome product for a cash sweep for business."
yeah. So
It's in
why is the tax rate one that you know?
the way he pitched this deal under the laws of how it's labeled. It doesn't have it's different than the things. If I make $1 million in income from a dividend, I'm paying out ordinary income, right? From a Chevron dividend. Well, he called it something different. It just has a different tax calculation. I think it's because he's giving you monthly dividends and he's saying this is your principal back.
Yeah,
He's
got it.
calling it something slightly different. Now, who knows? Now, this is what's to me very interesting. I went to my bank and I have some loans with them, and I said, "Look, you got me in $5 million worth of treasuries at 3. I'd like you to go talk to your risk management team about moving all of that over to STRC." And they said, "How long's it been around?" 9 months. Oh, they'll never do it. It's similar to MSTR, dude. I know we'll do it. So they looked at it. 24 hours later, they're like, "Hey, we'll approve you to take 60% of the funds out of the bonds and move them to STRC." That tripled my world.
Right.
Now, don't think that bank isn't happy.
Yeah.
The full bank guys are going, "Hey, this is a good idea, dude. We should get all our guys into this shit."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, really, man, they should be pushing this product.
Yeah,
So,
Gary, you got to tell me it's STRC?
yeah, STX2, it is the preferred dividend product of MS2 MicroStrategy, or what's known as Strategy today. It's Michael Saylor's company.
Yeah. Sailor.
Now, listen, the reason I brought that up, he's too honest. He'll spend 11.5% to borrow money to buy Bitcoin. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to borrow at 12, but I think it's pretty fascinating. I think he's offering too much. He did not need to offer that much, but wow, what a great product. It competes with real estate. It competes with money market. It competes with every pension. 11.5% in perpetuity. And it's covered up with collateral. I think it's the most covered up collateral you're ever going to see in a yield bearing product like that. So the world, and it's huge, man. I mean, it's a massive. I mean, you can imagine why people like it right now.
Yeah, and is it backed partly by MicroStrategy's balance sheet?
Oh, it's backed by the Bitcoin, separate and apart from,
Yeah.
and it's senior too.
Yeah.
So,
Why? Let's think about that. I'd like to talk about this forever, but I got to run.
yeah, no
Why
trouble.
does why is uh why is he doing that? What's in it for MicroStrategy?
This may be longer than you have, but I think, sir, if you look Solo's um, business model, it was really when he fell in love with Bitcoin too. He realized no one could buy Bitcoin, not wrapped up the way it was wrapped up and sold. So he created this public, and he was able to sue the fund, one of the funds that had probably not done it correctly, Grayscale. They had probably not done the Bitcoin ETF correctly. He realized all the ETFs were going to come out. I think he rushed to the market and said, "I'm going to create a product where people can buy an equity if they're used to and comfortable with, and I'm going to support it with the Bitcoin underneath it." So gave, like the Norwegian pension fund, when they dumped the Israelis, they said, we're not doing business with the Israelis anymore. They moved $500 million into not Bitcoin, but MSTR,
Yeah.
right? Because it is an easy product. The person is already qualified to buy equities, and they bought $500 million worth.
Yeah.
And people are buying the STFC product. So I think, to answer your question, I think he saw the bond yields, he saw the money market yields, and he said, I am going to make this so attractive, I'm going to suck as much cash out of money market accounts as possible. This is what's freaking out the banks.
Yeah.
And they're resisting the digital bill because they're like, hey, we just had the sale guy just put, like, sale is taking business from my guys.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Like moving from 4 to 11. 4 to 11, that is a massive change. And I have no tolerance. You probably don't have a product like that. You probably almost all your products still do is give me 30 days notice. Right?
Super interesting.
And I'm getting paid monthly. I don't have to wait the whole year.
Yeah.
So, and it's covered up. I don't know whether any of my bonds are covered up with collateral. I have no clue. I'm assuming they're not covered up at all.
You're right. Exactly. No, there's the bonds are they're whatever the underlying thing they're the company they're invested in. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, the credit quality on the bonds is suspect anyway because of what we went through with 2008. So that nonsense is still happening. All right, Gary, do you know what? If it's okay with you, I super appreciate you doing this.
You're awesome, man. I
And
appreciate it.
I don't want to lean on you again, but can we do another one and just talk about this stuff?
Yeah. Love to. And if you want some more information, I mean, I'm hooked up with some really cool people. I know a whole group that are only studying SGR and SGOC products. So anytime you want some, input, sometimes we do, we'll do a space on this and maybe just drill down into the entire product suite. And it's really, I mean, for your family, it's an awesome place for them to come to, not to have to listen to some bank guy who doesn't really know what he's talking about. He just read a
Or
prospectus.
doesn't care, right?
And he doesn't really care. Well, you
Yeah.
don't kill when you don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have an interesting question to come across, though. Happy to do it, man.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate
you ask
it.
some really good questions, so that helps.
Yeah. I really appreciate you being here. And let's do that follow-up.
Yeah.
All right,
For
man.
sure.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jay.
Jake.
So thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, thank you.